Something happened in the real estate market for the first time in 7 years. You're definitely going to want to watch this one. Anytime it takes 7 years for something to happen again, it's a big deal. And this is going to be, hopefully, something that will solve a lot of pain points for real estate consumers right now. I'm going to have Nick put up the chart here. For the first time in 7 years, inventory rose from July to August over this past month. And that means a lot of things. It means that maybe we're seeing inventory start to climb back up. Maybe we're seeing buyers and sellers, consumers, homeowners, all of the above start to become okay with 7% interest rates. The rates clearly are not coming down, and the lock-in effect is real. People aren't going to move when they have a 3 or 4 and they have to trade up to a 7 unless there's a need. And there's been a lot of folks that have a need. They want to downsize. Maybe they're getting divorced. Maybe their kids are out of the house. They're getting engaged. Their family's growing. All the things we know that spur a move in the first place. Maybe we're starting to see folks saying, you know what? I'd rather build equity and refinance when rates come down, because they will come down. A lot of people are predicting that. We've talked about that on previous shows. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on these numbers. The other piece of data, and we've got another chart for you that Nick's going to put up in the post edit here, is that we're seeing 89.5% of homeowners have 30% or more equity in their current home. So we've got folks sitting on all this equity, and we know not all of these properties are going to be their 20, 25-year home. We've just seen such an incredible increase in prices over the past 3-4 years and in home values because of everything that's going on we've talked about at length. Now folks have equity to use, and some of these people will be using that equity to make an upgrade or to buy their next home all cash if they're downsizing, right? So there's all these things at play here that the economics have started to change. And with rates where they are right now, and currently there's about a 93% chance the Fed is not going to raise the federal funds rate at the September meeting. That obviously can change based on some of the inflation data coming out. We did see unemployment go up to 3.8%, which I never see as a good thing. The Fed wanted that to happen so the labor market breaks a little bit. We saw the number of open jobs drop below 9 million nationally for the first time in a while. So some things are happening here that the Fed's been trying to force the issue with their rate fund policy. And inventory's climbing, rates are stabilizing. We might have seen peak rates for the year. So what does this all mean? There's no question, based on all the experts that are out there, and I'm a believer in this, that rates will come down at some point. And if I'm a buyer right now, I see a window of opportunity from September until the end of the year to get the home that I want. Maybe not at the rate that I want, because we know 7% is a higher number. I'm not making light of that. We know how challenging it's been getting an offer accepted. So sometimes the win, and in most cases the win, is getting the house when you're on the purchase side, especially if you want the house. Inventory's low. We're starting to see it creep up a little bit, and that's going to be a big win for potential homeowners. This also affects sellers, right? If you're a home seller or you're thinking about selling and you can't find what you want, you don't know where you want to go to, this could be the opportunity to get what you want and use some of that equity that you've built up, because homeowners are sitting on more equity than ever in the United States right now. And I know the rates aren't ideal. I'm not making light of that. What I'm saying is, if moving's the priority, whether it's now or a year from now, getting the home that you want with less competitive terms. Maybe you want to get a home inspection. Maybe you want to be one of only 2 or 3 people bidding on a home instead of 10 or 15, because when rates do come down, we're going to see a couple things very clearly happen. More inventory is going to come to the market. More importantly, the market will be flooded with buyers who have been trying to wait out the interest rates. And as a buyer, you want to be buying when most people aren't. This is when people make the most money, is when they're a little more courageous with their purchase. Think about all the folks that bought in 2020 in the first half of the year when they weren't sure what was going to happen. Are they happy now? You bet they are, because they got a better number, prices have gone up substantially, and they're sitting on a lower rate. You don't want to let this next cycle pass you by, because when rates do come down, which a lot of people are predicting, Moody's, the Mortgage Bankers Association, Fannie Mae, the list goes on, Morgan Stanley, all the folks that make these predictions, we're going to see more competition in the market. So here's an opportunity. We're seeing the signs with inventory increasing and with home equity, 89+% of US homeowners have 30% or more. These are the signs that if you want to get a home, there's a window of opportunity now that I'd be taking advantage of. All the more reason, contact someone who can communicate this data for you. Interview agents. We just did a couple videos about questions to ask when you're interviewing agents. Use all those questions. Make sure someone, whoever you hire, is able to articulate all this in a way you can understand so you can see the advantages to transacting now. It's not all positive. There are some competitive advantages. Get in touch with an expert that can help you, that can communicate all this, make sure they can guide you, and years to come, you'll be happy with your decision.